I really want to serve you and I really don't want to let you down. And I really care to have regular content. And I really think that by having that, it shows something about me and my company.
Most hosts never achieve the results they hoped for. They're falling short on listenership and monetization, meaning their message isn't being heard and their show ends up costing them money. This podcast was created to help you grow your listenership and make money while you're at it. Get ready to take notes. Here's your host, Adam Adams.
Hey, what's up, podcaster? Adam A. Adams here. And this is one of our solo episodes. So every other episode is a solo episode, and every other episode is an interview episode, as you may know if you've been around for long enough. And so half of the podcast episodes on this show is me interviewing somebody just like you, somebody who's fairly new podcaster, less than 2 years, with some success or with some failures, and kind of getting their story and extracting it and trying to get as many useful tips for you as I possibly can. The other half is just me sitting with you, pouring into you by myself, like solo episode. And those topics always change. And it generally comes from how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, what I've learned that day, questions that my clients are asking me. So many options out there. And today's episode, I want to briefly discuss self-care. Even like anybody in business, anybody who is, even if you're an employee of somebody else's business, anyone who's running a podcast, running a coaching program, working on growing their real estate investments, anyone who's trying to be a better parent, self-care is quite important. And I've have this hard on my mind, as many of you know, a little over a month ago, my sweetheart and I split up. And the truth is, like, for the whole month, this last month, I've just been in a rough place, right? And so I'm trying to think through this and how are we going to extract something beneficial for you? And as I think about this, I've got some things that are apparent. Generally speaking, I do about a load or two of laundry a week. Or maybe I'll wait a week. Maybe I'll skip a week and I'll do 2 to 4 loads, right? In 2 weeks. But in the last month plus, I haven't been doing laundry because I've been depressed and just it doesn't sound fun to do laundry. I want to be in my sorrows or whatever, right? And shaving. Luckily, I have a beard, but my neck, I generally shave it every day. But that neck hair got out of control. My self-care got out of control. And I will say, as a huge, awesome thing is I ordered a whole bunch of furniture for my house. I thought that would make me happy. If I got all this furniture, I'm like, boom, now I'm happy because I've got a new life, right? And I'm moving forward. It didn't work. I'm just going to be honest. It didn't quite work, but I'm still my bed is coming in a couple of days. So these are some things. And then the thing that I'm most proud of recently is that I shaved my neck this morning, boom, like a boss. And what else did I do? Yesterday, I spent the entire day cleaning the house, getting the dishes done, taking out the recycling, picking up shoes that were all over, right? Cleaning the bathroom officially, and just doing some things that have been put on the wayside for the past month. And my takeaways for you, the things that I think that we can all think through and process, is that it's okay to not be okay, right? You're going through something, that's fine. That's approved. You're allowed to. I've been talking to a couple of friends today because I've been in a harder, a tougher place, even though it's been over a month. It's not getting easier. Life doesn't just get easier every day. Some days are easy and some days are hard. Some days we're distracted. Some days we're focused. It's all sorts of stuff like that. And actually, one of my buddies was just calling me. I left him a voicemail. I'll call him back here in a moment. But I've had a couple of conversations with people that they're like, you just got to live. You've got to experience it. You've got to be in this moment. And that's all right. And it made me think about podcasting, because I've been actually putting off these solo episodes so much because I don't feel like I'm in the best headspace. So in the way that I'm thinking through this, the way that I'm processing what's happening in my life has been to not do the episodes because perhaps the episode will be too depressing, right, for my listener. And it's going to bring them down instead of inspire them. I want you to be inspired. I want you to have a kick-ass podcast. And have been many days in the last month that I am just glad that I had some backup recordings that I could put out because I'm going through some stuff. And I figured today I just want to let you know, in case you needed it, that it's okay for you to go through some stuff. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to push through. I think that I care more about regular published content than I do about like myself in some ways. Like I really want to serve you and I really don't want to let you down. And I really care to have regular content. And I really think that by having that, it shows something about me and my company. So I'm maybe not going to walk the walk that I'm sharing with you. I want to give you permission if you need to take a break from your podcast. And for me personally right now, I'm like, you know what? I want to keep it going. I want to keep sharing and adding value and inspiring my listener, you, to go to the next level. So I just wanted to touch base with you on this topic of self-care, let you know that we're all going to be going through some stuff. Even Adam Adams goes through some stuff. It's funny. I know I'm a real person. Like Adam Adams knows he's just a regular old guy. But a lot of my listeners who reach out to me, when you've reached out to me and told me things, it makes me feel like I have to be this perfect person. Like when you reach out to me or your friend reached out to me, it makes me feel like you think that I have no flaws, like I'm the best podcaster in the world because I have the gall to have the podcast on podcasting. And so today is a little bit different, just to let you know, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to take a break from your podcast if you need to. And here's what I want to leave the episode with is that something that I learned from somebody, I'm going to misquote it, but the spirit of it is definitely there. They basically said it was like somebody's coach or mentor was talking to somebody who had a podcast, one of my clients. And the coach or the mentor said to him, it was one of my guy clients, I remember that much, hey, if you don't publish a podcast, like how many people are going to die? And the guy was like, well, okay, good point. Nobody's going to die. Okay, fair enough. But how many people are you going to really offend, really hurt their feelings, and it won't be repairable? And they had to think, and they're like, well, okay, there's not going to be any relationships that I have that are completely not repairable if I don't publish content. And so the person asked like a third follow-up question. I don't recall what it was anymore, but the person asked a third like, well, then this and this and this is going to happen then. And the person's like, well, no, that's not going to happen. And the moral of the story is it is okay if you have an episode where you're depressed like I am today. I might be laughing and hiding it a bit, but if that's where you are, like that's okay. And if you skip the episode, that's okay too. What I think is more important than regular content or perfect content is authentic content, where your listener knows you, knows your heart, knows where you're coming from, and can feel something. And so be all right with being authentic. Be all right with being vulnerable. We mentioned that, I think, on a really recent episode as well. Vulnerabilities and sharing where you are. That I wanted to say it again because there's a lot of people that aren't. There's a lot of people that feel like they have to be perfect. There's a lot of people that feel like they have to put on a front, that they have to pretend, like they have to disguise, like they have to be somebody besides who they are because that other person is more compelling. That happy person is more enjoyable to listen to. So they determine that they've got to be this picture of the perfect podcaster when I don't think they really do. I think they just have to connect with their audience. And in a way, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be real. I'm trying to be raw, let you know what's up. I'm pretty sure I'll keep the content going on a regular basis. And so I look forward to connecting with you more. As we mentioned just in the beginning of this episode, every other episode is an interview episode. Interviews are much easier to do, because the burden of the content is on them. I just ask questions. I let them be the star. They just ask me questions. I answer them. And then we And I think you're in for a treat if you just stick with us and check out the next episode. See you there. This is serious. Don't go. Now that you've gotten whatever value that you feel that you got, the actionable takeaways, you need to implement the stuff that you learned. If you remember me talking about bird church once, and they learn how to fly, and then they walk home, I don't want you to walk home. I want you to fly home. So take the steps, take the actionable steps for your benefit so that you can become a better podcaster. That's the only thing that I ask of you. And I'll see you for more actionable tips on the very next episode.